Hello, my name is Connor Hopkins. I am from Decorah, Iowa. I am a filmmaker and I'm the creator of Debut. This story is about this young man, Braden, as he'll soon be known, Damien, about him journeying from his last few days of training to be a professional wrestler, and then following him up to his first match and a little bit of the aftermath after that. But really what I think this film is about is a subculture that doesn't get analyzed very often, the world of professional wrestling and sort of the spectacle and everything that goes into being a professional wrestler. It's your story of like an event, of a big event happening, but at the same time it's also kind of a story of an important moment in someone's life. Here at Luther, thankfully, we are allowed and encouraged to sort of come up with our own projects. One that gets done commonly is create a documentary film as sort of a capstone. Unfortunately, the week that I was scheduled to begin production on that film for that class, we got sent home from Luther, and the pandemic sort of ended everything. So I had this movie about pro wrestling written, and I knew that I wanted to get it made, and so it just luckily turned out my friend Braden was set to have his first match. I wanted to tell people about this thing that I do every weekend without having to resort to jokes about it like I usually do. I'm always responding with something like, yeah, I dress up in tights and I hit people in the head with chairs every weekend. And what I really wanted to do with this film is show people that it's a little bit more than that, that there actually is, an emotional connection and a subculture and like a group of people that genuinely enjoy doing this. Kind of quickly what it turned into was what I hope is a little bit of an inspirational message just for people who, have that dream that they want to accomplish.
My debut is in 2 weeks. I have waited 2 years for this. And I'll be damned if I'm going to wait 2 years to start wrestling just to be told I'm not good enough to keep doing this. One of my biggest fears in pro wrestling is being bad, is not being good. I'm not going to let that happen. This is my dream, this is my passion, this is the end of the road.
My name is Braden Bend, and I'm going to be a professional wrestler. My debut is Saturday, September 12th, 2020.
Hello? Hi.
What if it's awful? It'd be great. That'd honestly be great.
Oh, Ralphie. Oh.
When I first got into wrestling, I was 3 years old. I was watching the television as my brother was watching wrestling, and that was it. So actually, I do have the precise moment that I knew then on I was going to be a professional wrestler. I was watching a show, a Dreamwave wrestling show in LaSalle, Illinois. It was the final Dreamwave show, and it was the final match. And all the wrestlers came out from the locker room, and we all swarmed the ring as the final pin was being counted. And I looked around and saw the atmosphere and was like, I want to create moments like these for a living. I actually started just following my brother to shows. He had already trained at Zawa. I just helped set up, and I would sit at the merch table or sometimes front row, and just help tear down and set up. And then all of a sudden, Zeke Zishi made me a referee, and I've been doing that ever since. I started training in February of 2020, and we all know how 2020 went, so I've been training ever since then, minus 3 months in there. Training has been one of the most amazing experiences ever. I've been able to train with people that I grew up watching on the indies, and even some that I've seen on TV, and it feels really rewarding to finally be able to learn something that I've always wanted to do. Honestly, I'm most nervous about the crowd just not caring, which I think we have a little help with like our family being in the crowd, but beyond anything, I can do all the cool shit in the world, but if the crowd doesn't care, then why would I care? There's been many nights where we would just like, he would text me or I would text him, see what's going on, and we would come to this ring in 1 in the morning just to come up here and think of spots to do and think of structuring. And I would definitely be thinking all the time at work of like what I wanted to do in this, slowly piecing it together with my trainer, getting it to where it makes sense. And we have it down now and even nitpicked at this point, so we've been preparing for a couple months now, ever since we found out that it was going to be us, so I'm excited. I know as soon as either one of our music hits, especially mine, my heart's probably gonna drop, because it's like, this is it, you know? But overall, I'm feeling pretty good. Beginning of the show day is basically me and a couple of the other guys will meet up with the promoter to grab the ring. We'll go to the venue and set up the ring and get the cross cables tightened, the ropes tightened correctly, make sure that the ring is set up safely for the performers on the show. Yeah, basically just making sure everything is show ready, getting the curtain up, all the sound equipment up, and yeah, making sure we put on a good production.
That's what I got.
Wrestling is very, very old school. Going into the locker room, new guys or old guys, doesn't matter. You shake their hand, you say hello to everybody, you pay your respects to the people who come before you, and even then, the people who came before will pay their respects to the people who will come after them. It's very respect-based business.
We're setting up the ring. Ow! We're getting the side support beams in to where we can set up the beams and boards.
He's not just that. He's the world's greatest. Yeah, they're retired. I saw Hank and Murphy wearing them, so I'm kind of just going to
Well, not quite the day I was looking for, but we'll get through it. Putting on the ropes. Here. Up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You're going to catch you. You were in the back.
I know that the closer I get, the more nervous I get, even though I know that we have this match down. And yeah, the closer we get, the more nervous I get.
That's really cool. And you were just quiet. I'll pay you.
1, 2, 9. Yeah. See, Doy? Hello.
Good to see you. Are you excited?
Are you ready for this? I love that shit.
character is Quick Draw Damien Deschain. The idea behind the character is that I am not stronger than my opponent, but I will be quicker to the draw, and also using a metaphor of a sharpshooter to portray the fact that I am a technical wrestler.
Boom. That push O'Connor. Roll back. You drop 1, 2 steps. Drop down. Duck the line. Duck it again.
A little nervous, I'll be honest. But I think we got it. I think once we get going, we'll be fine, but man.
Honestly, the only thing that was in my mind was, here we go. And from the moment that I stepped out of the curtain and got into the ring, until the match started, it felt like I was genuinely dreaming. Like it did not feel real at all. Man, the feeling I had right at the end when Gage was coming up and he had my leg in his hands, I knew that we had pulled it off. And I was looking up at the sky. I felt very satisfied with how it had gone. And it was a rush of contentment.
I'm so proud of you, man. No, not yet. No, not the match. You just killed his crowd. That's what you did.
Good, that went well. That went perfectly how I envisioned it. I'm sure it'll when I actually see it, I'll notice some that I didn't quite like. But as far as my perspective goes, we killed it. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go, Rose.
Kids. But you have to interact. Because think about it, the biggest things that got over were you asking for one more on the Garvin stomp, which is the least impressive thing either of you guys did. The in-ring was super impressive.
Having my family there was very special. Seeing the reaction, going out with in intermission, talking to them, it felt like they had finally seen, hey, he might have a chance at this. This is his dream. I see how happy it makes him. It felt very nice for them to finally see that.
I feel pretty good. I feel at peace, kind of, in a way. I don't know. It's a strange feeling. I'm excited for what this crazy, crazy business has in store for me in the coming years.
catch myself listening to people talking, and then one of the vets will be like, "Hey, is that ring tore down yet?" And I was caught up in the moment listening to the stories that I didn't realize that I still have to pay my dues. I still have to tear down the ring, set up the ring. Yeah, basically do all the grunt work for now, yeah, basically.
How do you think last Saturday went?
Honestly, everything considered, it went about as well as it could have possibly, and I'm very, very happy with how last weekend turned out. I'm hoping that I can do big things in this business, and I'll only get better with time, and so the notes that I received after my first match I will take and apply to the next match and rinse and repeat. And so I'm very, very excited about the future, my future in professional wrestling. I know right now what I need to improve on in wrestling is being more vocal and more verbal with the audience. Focusing less on what I'm doing and applying it to make sense why I'm doing it, to give the audience a better experience. I'll probably be learning things for years to come, like that'll never stop. I'll never stop learning when it comes to wrestling. What's next for me in wrestling? That's a difficult question because I mean, you never know what the future holds. I know right now I plan to wrestle for Zawa and hopefully start traveling to other promotions. And hopefully, if the country ever opens up again, I can start traveling more and more. So basically, just I want to wrestle everywhere. It's kind of hard to put into words how much wrestling means to me. I mean, it's been a home away from home that I never thought was quite possible. It's given me memories that are irreplaceable, and yeah, it just means the world to me. I feel like I finally proved all the naysayers wrong. Everyone who has told me I either couldn't or shouldn't do this, and now I have. I mean, I've been a ref for 2 years, and I've always known while reffing that I wanted to be a wrestler. And now that I am a wrestler, I feel accomplished. Wrestling has always been the ultimate goal for me, and I finally have that, and it is genuinely the best job I ever had, and I wouldn't want it any other way.